Hello there everyone, my name is Betsy and today I wanted to share with you some of the process of creating these little ATCs. And if you don't know what these are artist trading cards. They're about the size of a baseball card. So they're 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. They're pretty small. And here is how I make mine. So this set I'm making is for a group that I've joined on Instagram where we trade cards. And so what I'm going to do when I'm done with these is I'm going to package them up and send them in to the person that's organized this. And they are going to give them out to a handful of different people. And then in return, I'm going to receive 3 cards as well. So there was a theme for this month. And I actually haven't had a chance to participate in this group in months. I think I participated back in January and February, and then I just haven't been able to do it since then. So finally getting around to it again. It's a lot of fun. I've just been so busy. So there's 3 cards, and the theme for these is literary trio. So it's all having to do with books, with poetry, with writing. And so I found a couple of quotes. So here's this one by Maya Angelou. There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. And here's this one by Ernest Hemingway. There is nothing to writing. All you do is sit down at a typewriter and bleed. And so what I'm working on right now is the third one. You can see it's blank. I've already set it up so that it matches the others on the back. And I know that I'm going to follow these same designs. So there's going to be something in the center, and then I'm going to put all my little doodles around it. So I already have a quote here by Virginia Woolf. Lock up your libraries if you like, but there is no gate, no lock, no bolt that you can set upon the freedom of my mind. So that's going to be the quote that I put on that third one. And I wanted to show you very briefly some cards that I've received. Well, here are a few that I've made in previous months. So these are some snails. One of my favorite designs. This was from the February swap. I usually make one that I keep for myself. This was from January swap. I put them in these little sleeves. Let me check. Yes, this is from January. And then these are some cards that I've received during the exchanges. Very nice. Did I roll my eyes out loud? Some nice abstract ones. It's got some shiny parts right there. Excellent. Some Zentangles. Very nice. Collage. I like it because I can feel the edge of the paper, all the little surfaces. It's really nice. Zentangle and more collage. Very nice. Mixed media. It's got a lot going on here. It's very nice. So these are the ones I did have sent to me, a few of my own. So I wanted to work on this one here. So I think that I'm going to follow up on that same design that I started off with. So let me grab a pencil. So I'm just going to recreate this scroll right here, but I think I'm just going to turn it around so that the scroll work is in the other direction. So let's see how I want to do this. I think I'm just going to start from this side. So I'm going to create this swirl. I'm going to go this way like that. I hope that fits the quote that I'm writing. It's a lot of words, so I'm probably going to have to write a little small. Let's see if I can get it to fit in there the way I want. So I'm just extending these lines. This is actually very similar to the ribbon pattern. So you notice I made a smooth line. It kind of swirls. And then I'm just finding every edge and making a straight line heading out from there. So here, here, here. Now I'm going to do these. So here's this edge, and this edge, and this edge. It's pretty much exactly the same as that ribbon pattern. So now I'm going to recreate this edge here, and then this one here is going to happen over here. Close enough. So that's going to be my scroll. So I'm just going to go over it with ink now. Make a few little imperfections on the edge of the paper. Like that. Right here. Scrolls aren't perfectly smooth. They have these little rough edges. There we go. So I think I'm going to write in the quote with pencil because I'm uncertain if I go in straight with the pen, if I will be able to fit all of those words in there. So I'm going to just write it in very quickly. So it says, lock up your libraries. If you like. But there is no gate. Let's see, no lock. No bolt. That you can set upon Ooh, that doesn't look like it's gonna fit. I might have to change my lettering so it's a little smaller. And set upon the freedom of my mind. Wow, that was close. So I don't have room on the scroll anymore, but I think I can just put this right here. I will have to. Nobody's perfect. This is good enough. So I'll leave that there for now, and I will fill that in with ink later. I think I just want to jump straight to doing the designs around this scroll. So I'm going to outline this by making a darker line. This will help the scroll jump to the foreground so it's easier to see. So I'm just going to go around and do that around the whole thing. So that looks pretty good. You'll notice that I did that on the others. So this book here, there is a fairly thick black line here around the whole thing. And I did the same thing over here on this scroll. Very thick black line all the way around. So let me finish going around. I will admit that earlier I was having a bit of an anxiety attack. I don't really know why, but I suppose that's the whole problem with that kind of thing, is that it doesn't give you any reasons. It just shows up and does its thing. And so I apologize if you hear me breathing deeply at any point. It's because I'm trying to get a grip on it. I also made myself a cup of tea because that usually helps. The warmth of it helps calm me down. So that's what I've got right now. I have a cup of tea. I have the last stroopwafel in the house is right here in front of me. I'm enjoying that. I'm just trying to not think about the million things that are going on in my head, so I'm gonna draw for a little while I pretty much have the same designs going on throughout this whole thing. I think I just decided to repeat them. So I'm just going to keep that going over here with this third one. So I'm going to start by creating my usual swirl here. So here's the line. Let it swirl around really nicely. And then, let's see here. I'm going to go around the outer edge of it. I'm going to go around the outside. Let it come in like that. And I think even before I fill anything else in, I'm just going to go around the entire card and just add a few more of these swirls. I'm going to add one here. I'm going to go around the outside this time. I think I like this better. There we go. So I went around the outside, and then I'm just going to make a little belly for it right here. There we go. I like that better. I will make one more somewhere else. I don't know where. How about over here on the right? Let's go this way. On the outside, going around and around, and then I make the belly for it. And that way I can just clean up this spot right here. That should be nice. Okay. I'm going to fill those in with a smaller pen. So if any of you are wondering, this is the point liner. It's a little bit worn down because I use this pen a lot. It's the Pentel 0.1. I'm not going to recommend it only because the price of these has gone up a lot. If you're interested, go ahead and look for them. Pentel point liner 0.1. A box of these used to cost, it was still a lot for me, $7 or $8. But then recently the price has doubled. A box of these is now like $16, $17, sometimes even $20, and I'm not. So I'm not buying these anymore, but I am using up the ones that I had. This is just a smaller pen. And of course, I need to use what I have. They do work really nicely though. If you're willing to pay that kind of money for your pens, go for it. The pens themselves are actually pretty good. So here I'm just doing these curved lines here to give them some form. I can hear my cats talking to each other in the distance. I think it's probably one of my girl cats talking to my boy cat. She likes to chase him around the house, trying to get his attention all the time. Poor little thing. And he ignores her, of course, because he's a big boy cat. She tries to be so sweet to him. Because the thing is, I actually have a whole lot of cats in my house. Maybe not as many as other people have, but I feel like it's a whole lot. Right now I have 6 cats. 6 of them. 4 of them are from the same family of cats. So it was a mama cat and 3 of her daughters that we adopted many years ago. So those are here. All girls, of course. So when we brought them into our house, it was because there were just so many female cats, we didn't want them out there having babies, so we caught them, got them spayed. They live with us now. They're our babies. But I also have you may have seen him in one of my other videos, my big fluffy boy cat. We adopted him from a friend, and he is very handsome. And the girl cats are always chasing him around. They're all spayed and neutered, of course, but there's still that social interactions between them. So I hear that all day long. I hear them talking to each other, having little cat conversations. It's really cute. And of course, occasionally my boy cat will get bored and he will come up here and he will just hop on my desk, even though I have a cup of tea and I have food and I have pens and ink everywhere and glue sometimes, and he just hops right on up here. He doesn't care. He just wants attention. Which is cute, of course, but little guy makes a mess when he hops up here. But I guess that's why I have him in my home, is because he is just adorable. Especially when he wants love. Okay, looks like I'm almost done here with this third one. Just drawing those little curves. I usually don't work this tiny either, so this is unusual for me. I'm trying not to get my hand in the way of the camera, so I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing if you're watching. I know that my fingers might get in the way sometimes, but I'm trying to keep them out of the way. Okay, so just finishing up the inside. This is always the hardest part of this thing here, is that inside gets really crowded, and I have to try to fit all those tiny shapes in there. Okay, so let me refer to one of the other cards. I want to see what other elements I used. So, okay, I used these large petals. I think I'm going to put a few of them around now. So I'm going to start filling in with a few of those. So, where can I put some? I'm going to put a very big one right here. All the way into that corner. Maybe let it curve around right here. That should be good. And I'm going to put a couple of lines in there. Contour lines, to be precise. So let me do that. Let's see if I have a steady hand. I don't know. I don't feel like my hand is steady, but I'm just going to keep working through it. Sometimes I feel like I can make beautiful smooth lines, and sometimes I'm just not there. I think today I'm at 50% with the steadiness of my hand. That's fine. This isn't about perfection. It's just about distracting my mind. Okay, so that looks good. I'm going to make a thick line around here. I want this to be separate from all the little patterns that are going to fill in the other spaces. Okay, I'm going to do the other side too. Separate that out. Right here. And if any of you are wondering what I used to make the cards, I will show you. Let me see if I have any lying around. Oh yeah. So this is the cards. They are just index cards that I glued together. So there's two of them. I know it's hard to see because of the angle, but I glued together two index cards back to back and let them set, so they're pretty firm now. And then at the end, when I make a set of them like this, I have a set of 3 of them. To make the back match, I glue onto the back some, what is it called? Some scrapbook paper. So I have some pieces lying around. I try to find one where there's enough, and then I just glue them on there. I also made a template, so I just got some paper and made a little template for myself. So this sticks around on my desk, 3.5 inches by 2.5 inches. For me, the graph paper helped me get that perfect size, and then I just go and trace it. So that's what I do. That's how I get these cards done. I don't buy them. I don't do any of that. I just use paper and glue. If I can't find these note cards, because they were just lying around, that's what I use them. I might cut up some cardstock or something like that to make this. So there's no need to buy anything special. Just use what I have. Comes out just fine. That's actually the same thing that I do when I'm binding a new book. So when I'm making books, a couple of years ago, I used to buy, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's a kind of cardboard that's really stiff. And it was expensive though. That stuff used to cost me, I think, $20 for the pack. And I thought that's a lot of money to pay for a cardboard. So I haven't bought any more since then. What I do is instead I take I just take some cardstock that I already have, because I do buy that for the pages of my books, or cover stock, and then I glue a handful of them together. Now granted, that does take some time and some patience, of course. It takes more time, but I have time right now, so I'm okay gluing those together. If I didn't have the time, I would probably buy that strange cardboard and I would go back to using that, but it's not worth it right now. I just glue paper together. You can see that I'm adding another one of my typical designs here. They're these kind of long leaves, and I just like to add a whole lot of them. These little tiny leaves, and I let them kind of radiate out from a single point. They're just growing. I think I'm going to let this one go all the way to the edge here of the paper. Why not? It's so tight there that I don't want to draw anything in there. I'm just going to color this in black. Just going to fill it with ink. And as usual, if you're interested in these pens, what these are fairly cheap pens that I buy on Amazon. They are just gel ink. If you don't want to buy things on Amazon and you'd rather go to the store and find them, this might be an equivalent, the Sharpie roller. I'll show you. I'm going to use this one. I used to buy these, but they're also kind of expensive. So the Sharpie roller 0.5 is also very good. I think that the line on this comes out a little finer than the pens that I'm using. It's just these days I go through pens so much that I really have to watch my spending. It would end up being very expensive for me if I continued buying these Sharpie pens. As much as I love them, I do love them. And depending on how much you draw or what quality of things you want, you're free to get whatever pens suit your needs. I just know that I'm on a budget and I don't want to get carried away. I'm going to fill in this space with little circles. So they're very tiny when I'm close to my other elements here. And then as I work out from there, I'm going to start letting them get just a bit larger. It's something that I like to do to create more depth. So you'll notice the sizes of those circles change. Tiny and then bigger. Tiny and then bigger. Thankfully, I'm starting to feel better already. Earlier, I think they're the clavicles, so the bones on my collar were hurting. That usually happens when the anxiety is getting out of control. My chest will hurt, the back of my chest, so I guess on my back where my lungs are, it'll start to hurt. I used to think that I might have had asthma or something, because when this would happen, my lungs would hurt, my chest would hurt, my neck and back would hurt, and I thought, oh, maybe I have asthma. My mother has asthma, my brother has it too. And so I used to just assume that I had it too. But I've had the doctor check me for how well I take in oxygen, and I'm fine. My oxygen intake is fine, so it's not asthma. Definitely not asthma. It's in my head, so I know I've seen comments from some of you who have said that this is something you're doing now to help control anxiety, and I'm glad. That's why I'm here. I'm sharing this with you. So if you're going through something like this, I'm here for you. Or at least I'll do my best. Because all I'm doing here is I'm just doodling. This isn't the biggest thing in the world. I'm not creating fine art. I'm not trying to get into an art gallery. I'm not trying to sell stuff. I'm just keeping my mind busy. I'm just making lines. And that thought for me is very soothing. I like the idea that I'm just enjoying something for what it is, that I'm just doing it because I want to, because I enjoy it. I think that's the best feeling in the world. I'm just going to start putting lines down here. Some curved lines, just to create some simple tangling here. And when I draw these lines, it feels to me like it's two very different things. It could feel like it's hair, like hair or noodles or something, like spaghetti. But more often to me, it feels like it's water flowing. So that's what I'm thinking about when I make these lines. I think of water flowing down a river, water flowing in a stream, just carrying everything downstream. I try to imagine the sound of water flowing, floating in a boat down a river, just letting it carry me away. So there we go. I'm gonna draw a thick line right here, so I'm just gonna go for it. And then around this thing too, since that's my usual. So I've been using this Sharpie pen, and you can see it works great too. So if you happen to have any, or you're willing to go and get new pens, this is a good one. It's very similar to these inexpensive ones I'm using. I'm going to switch back to my cheap pen. I don't have a lot of those Sharpies left right now. Fill in with circles. It's a little messy. When I kind of make a mess with the circles this way, what I do to reiterate that gradient from light to dark is I do dots here. It's called stippling. So I just add dots along the edge just to make it look a tad darker. Really give me that gradient there. So there we go. Because for these cards, I'm not going to add any graphite over the top. It's going to be purely ink. And like this one, I'm just going to add some color pencil there because I'm not afraid of that fading or rubbing against anything. So I'm going to add more of these long thin leaves right here. Just going to let them grow out from that little corner. So that should be good right there. Maybe I'll fill that in. I'll put a long one right here. It's nice to change the sizes and the lengths. Little ones and big ones all together, hanging out, having fun. Right here. Here's a smaller one. You'll notice whenever I have these strange little gaps, I just fill them in with ink. I don't need to worry about what's going in there. It just creates this natural shadow behind things. So, let me think. Let's see what I have so far. I have that. Let me see if there's anything. You know what? I see that I added a little bit of pencil here. That wasn't my intention. I must have just been testing something out. Oh well. Made a liar out of me. There was a little bit of pencil here. I'm just looking to see. Oh, I made some of these. So it's also this. It's almost like the swirly one, but it's not swirly. I'll put a couple of these in here. That should give me some more things to fill in with. Okay, so since I only have room at the top right now, I'm gonna put them up here somewhere. I'm just gonna go for it. So there's gonna be one here, a little bit chubby, and maybe one here, also chubby. That should be fine. We'll fill in around them. I'm going to use the small pen to fill in the pattern. Hopefully it didn't dry out. Okay. I keep forgetting to put the cap back on, and then I'm surprised later when the ink doesn't want to flow. Wonder why. I wonder why. Okay, that's pretty good. Helps me fill in that space better. And here's the second one. Put all those little tiny contour lines there. Teeny tiny. What I'd like to do is to add some white charcoal so that I can add some highlights, but I know that that's going to rub off because the charcoal just comes off really easily. So I'm just going to not worry about that this time. I'm gonna fill this area in right here. So more of those little leaves. 1, 2, 3. Sometimes I like to do that when I'm creating these shapes. I count them. No need to count them, of course. It's not necessary. It just helps keep my mind busy. It's like counting sheep. 1, 2, 3. Actually, it's a whole lot like counting sheep. It's just this soothing little thing to do. I'm gonna put circles over here again. Just that tiny space. Fill it with circles. Circle, circle, circle. I don't know what it is about putting circles into these spaces. Maybe one of you can explain to me. Does anyone know? What is so satisfying about circles? Maybe I'm just fascinated by them. Here we go. I'm just remembering to add my dark line around this. It's my go-to move here. Thick line. And what do I want to do there? I think I'm going to add some more of these lines. Make some more of that flow up here. So I'm just going to do that. Start at the top. Create some flow. If any of you do Zentangle, if you could let me know in the comments what this is called. I'm sure there's a name for this. I don't know. I don't don't know what the name is. I do get some inspiration from Zentangle, but I don't study it to the point where I know what anything is called or what the terminology is. I just look at it sometimes. There are a lot of wonderful artists on Instagram that teach Zentangle, and it's wonderful. I like looking at it regularly. I just don't know what anything's called. So there's some lines, and I think I'm going to add more of these leaves over here. Why not? Why not? Story of my life. Why not? I'm just gonna fill this in black. This is getting tight right there. Maybe one more leaf. Just kidding. 2 more leaves. And I think I'm just gonna fill this in with black over here. I like having some areas where it's just black. It helps give more contrast to the other elements in the drawing. And I'm going to follow that up with filling in this corner with black as well. So here it goes. Yeah. I've already gotten ink on my paper down here a couple times. That's why I started putting this paper under my cards, because I always get ink off the edge. And it's hard to clean that up off my desk. So I'm going to add a few more of my leaves here. I'm just about done here. This teeny tiny little artist trading card. Tiny little artworks. I'm excited to see what I get during the exchange. I really am. It's wonderful opening that up. It's like Christmas. Seeing people's creativity in miniature form. And it's so strange because having to create in miniature form changes things. I think that my drawings are different when I have to draw this tiny. Things are much, much different. So it's really interesting to see that difference. I think I'm going to do the same thing here where I'm just going to fill in with black. I don't think I have the dexterity right now to get this area to look good. Let me try doing scribbles. The scribbles might be okay. Scribbles are okay. Sometimes when I draw, rather than drawing perfect little circles or shapes, I just scribble like this. So just very loose, messy scribbling. And then you can add more. Notice how it creates a gradient. If you add more and more, it gets darker. And you can create some texture in some areas. So notice that worked up pretty quickly. So I'm going to do that in this area here to see what happens. The scribbles will be smaller than that though. So I'm just going to scribble around and hopefully try not to make a huge mess. I do that more once I know my hand is just not going to cooperate anymore. And drawing anything too refined is too difficult at that point. So scribble, scribble it is. Okay, so there's just scribbles. They're pretty much the same throughout. Now I'm going to come back in this side and just add a few more so that it's darker there. Just a little darker. Give me a gradient. I'm good with that. So goes from dark to light. Let's see, I think I used the small pen. I'm going to write in the words now. Okay. These teeny tiny words. Let's see if I can do this without blocking the camera with my big hand. Okay, I think that's working out okay. Lock up your libraries if you like. This is such tiny writing, I can't believe this. My husband would be proud. He has notoriously tiny writing. But there is no gate. Lock up your libraries if you like, but there is no gate. No lock. No bolt. That you can set upon the freedom of my mind. Alright, just enough room to add the quotes by Virginia Woolf. That's a really nice spelling of the word wolf. I don't know why. 2 O's just seems so appealing. Sounds really nice. I'm gonna erase the pencil there. I think I've just about achieved what I wanted. Let me see if I remember which pencil I was using for this. I know I used some kind of beige. Let's see if I can remember where it's at. Maybe this one? Beige. And a brown one, I think. Brown pencil. What's this one? It's a burnt ochre. Maybe it was burnt ochre. And obviously black, because I am who I am. Where's that black pencil? Black. Okay. I'm not going to do a lot of black, just a tiny bit, because I don't want to cover up those words. So it's just going to be a tiny bit here along this edge. And this edge. I'm doing it very softly. I don't want to get carried away with it here. Mostly just because it's so tiny and I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up if I get carried away with the black there. So black, that's fine. And then this is the burnt ochre. That's pretty good. So I'm just adding it around some of the edges here and near the shadows. I don't know what I'm doing, by the way. I'm just using what colors appeal to me right now. This is all an experiment. If you don't know which colors to use, don't worry about it. We're just having fun here. Or I hope we are. I'm trying to. I'm just putting things where they might look nice and going with it. Put some over here, why not? This might be a good place. Okay, and then let's see how this beige works. Hopefully it's good. I am burnishing with this one. I'm pressing not all the way through, but close to those shadows. I'm pressing, trying to get a gradient. I'm happy with that. I'm gonna draw lightly right here, very lightly, because this area here is raised. To my eye, it looks like this would be raised, so I'm going to leave it lighter so it looks like it's a bit of a shine from the light. So I'm going to color in here, and as I head up, I'm going to let it get softer and softer like that. And I'm going to do the same thing here because this is technically also curved, so I'm only going to put color along the edges like that. There we go. Good enough. Maybe a little bit here. I think I'm happy with that. Unfortunately though, I want to add some pencil. I think I'm gonna do it. I said I wasn't gonna do it, and look at me. There are a few spots that I would really like to have some stuff. Oh well, I didn't want pencil. Where's a blender? I need a bigger blender. Do I have a bigger blender somewhere? I thought I did. Let me try using my finger. Close enough. And mostly here where I have these lines, I would like it to be just a tiny bit darker. I like that better. And same thing with this big shape right here. I feel like it needs a gradient here. I could also do that with the ink, but apparently I'm in no mood to use ink to do that right now. Apparently. I thought I was. I thought I only wanted ink. And then I changed my mind. I could do it with a few of the other shapes, but I think this is all I wanted. So there we go. That's my third trading card. I didn't record the other two, but here they are. This one's a little more vibrant in the color of the scroll. This one's a little softer. That's good. Softer, more vibrant. Where's that third one? Here's the third one. Or I guess the first one. So this is number 1. This is number 2. And this is number 3 that we just created right now. So those are going to go out in the mail probably in a couple of days. I'm going to package them up, get them sent out this weekend, and keep my fingers crossed I get some interesting stuff in the mail during the trade. So that'll be fun. And I'm so glad that you were able to join me today. So I hope you gave some of this a try, that you drew something while I did this, had some fun, and I hope to see you in the next one. Hope you have a good one.